Hello Mandam and Galdam, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video I'm going to review Rasasi Daarej for This fragrance is wonderful, I have to tell you. Like, when I'm going to start talking about this you're going to think whatever, but nah, this is a very unique fragrance. So a little backstory on the fragrance. So this fragrance apparently smells very close to, or some people call it a clone, of Valentino V. So I've never smelled that fragrance before, but if this is supposed to smell like that, then that fragrance must have been amazing. So let me talk to you about the top notes. So in the top notes you can get cumin and cardamom, and then in the mid notes you get stuff like rose and orris root, and then in the base you get vanilla, you get tonka bean, you get sandalwood, you get amber, you get patchouli, and you also get musk. So now the scent profile of this fragrance. So this fragrance is very unique. In the beginning you get this sort of like this cumin notes. It's very minute and it's there for like 2 minutes. As soon as you spray it, that's when you smell it. But it's so well blended that you don't really tell that it's there. But for some good noses, you can tell that there's something there. And when mixed with that cardamom, it can kind of throw some people off. I think this fragrance is really unique, especially for that top note with the cumin inside. And then in the mid, you start to get into this juicy rose. Like, it's so juicy and wow, it's like a delicious rose. It's not just like a, you know, super flowery smelling rose, but it's more like a fruity rose. I don't know if you guys understand what I'm talking about, but it's like a juicy smelling rose, like a you know, like strawberry. When the strawberry is juicy, when you bite into it, it's like that type of juicy rose. And you get some orris root, and the orris root is what kind of makes it a bit powdery, but super lightly powdery. And in the dry down, that's when you get that vanilla and that tonka bean, a bit of amberiness and some slight muskiness. Alright, so let me spray it for you guys. I'm gonna spray it on my left hand so you guys can see how the sprayer is like. Hopefully you can see. So the sprayer is hit or miss, but it's decent. Alright, it's a decent sprayer. It smells so good. It has a type of soapiness to it too. Like, it's such an interesting fragrance. It's one of those fragrances that you must try, in my opinion. Like, it's actually a must-try fragrance. Anyways, let me talk about the longevity. So I just sprayed it on my hand, and right now I got a bit of the cumin, I got a bit of the cardamom, and then it goes into the rose. But for the longevity, like I said, so the longevity of this fragrance is about 4 to 6 hours. So the longevity, I can say, is average. You know, if you're gonna go out on a date, for example, that's the type of longevity you want. You don't want it to be too much, right? I like beast mode fragrances, but this is a really strange fragrance because in the first 2 hours after spraying this, it has like enormous sillage. It's kind of weird, but it's enormous. Like, you can smell that rose, cardamom, orris root combination like almost everywhere around you. It's like 4 feet, 5 feet, pushing almost 6 feet if you really spray it all over yourself, you know. I just sprayed it on my hand and I can smell it from here. Like, it's strong. You can have the cap on and you remove it and you can already smell it. You know, some fragrances are not that strong, they're really faint, but this, you can even smell it with the cap on. You can smell the fragrance, like, it's that strong. But only for the first 2 hours, which is so strange, and that's only on my skin. So for the first 2 hours I get like huge sillage, and then after that it starts to die down and you get to that dry down, and then in the dry down you get more orris root, which makes it powdery. You get a bit of soapiness with the rose being more and more faint, and the cardamom as well. And then that's when the tonka bean, the vanilla, and the sandalwood start to come to play. And after it comes into play, it dies down at that 6 hour mark, and it really becomes a skin scent really quickly after that 2 hour mark. Like, getting to the 3rd, 4th, 5th hour, it's already getting skin scent. So it's very strange because most fragrances, the life span is not huge sillage and then, you know, dies down to nothing really fast. They usually have more consistency to it. But I've noticed on my skin with this fragrance, Rasasi Daarej, is very irregular. Really huge sillage in the beginning, but performance is not that big. So this fragrance also reminds me a lot of La Nuit de l'Homme because of that cardamom and also because of the longevity. And also I can say that just like with La Nuit de l'Homme, this fragrance is like the best in the beginning. You know, but like when I had La Nuit de l'Homme and I was testing it, I really loved the opening and the mid. When it dried down, it was kind of like boring and also like non-existent. I think this has definitely better performance than that one, but this also has more twists and turns. You know, you get that cumin cardamom in the beginning, then you get rose, cardamom, orris root, because the cardamom stays, it lingers. The cumin is like a top note. Like most fragrances just have like, you know, bergamot or, you know, that type of citrusy smell in the beginning. This one has that cumin note, that weird spice. And then after that, the dry down is like vanilla, you know, amber, musk, patchouli. It's just an amazing fragrance. If I had to rate this fragrance out of 10, I'll give it a 9. I give it a 9 because it's lacking in the performance area, because I think that this type of fragrance should last at least 8 hours, you know, because it smells amazing, but you only get it for 4 to 6 hours. At least that's my personal experience with the fragrance. So if the longevity was better, it would get a 10 because it checks the box when it comes to uniqueness. It's very unique. The scent itself, amazing scent. I would give it even a 10 because it's so diverse, it's different. You're not gonna have two people smelling like Rasasi Daarej. It's very unique. Third, it's very versatile. In my opinion, I think I could wear this fragrance any time of the year. It's the summertime currently, and I love to wear this one in the summer. Like, I think you can wear it anytime. It would work great in the fall, great in the winter, great in spring, great in summer. I think the best times would probably be around fall, spring, because those times you have a bit of wind, and I think this type of sweet fragrance kind of needs a bit of wind, you know, and especially when you get to that dry down, the ambery parts, that's when having more cold would help. But the beginning is great even in the summer, and it's something that's like one of those pick-me-up fragrances, you know. If you're feeling down, when you pull out the Rasasi Daarej, you spray it on yourself, it just gives you a kick, that boost, because of that strong rose smell. So if you don't like rose, then maybe you should steer away from this fragrance. But for the price, you can't go wrong. This fragrance costs less than $30 Canadian, imagine. You don't find a lot of good fragrances for that price range. And for this type of quality and uniqueness, man, if you don't buy it, you're a fool. Like, I can't even say more than that. This fragrance is a must buy. I'm definitely gonna get a backup bottle. And I got this fragrance less than 5 months ago. It hasn't even been a year, and look how much I've used. It's already less than half. Less than half. It's that good. I have to say, Rasasi is an amazing house. And I think I'm really into Middle Eastern fragrances. I have to look more into it because Hawas, 10 out of 10. This, 9 out of 10. The only thing is longevity. I would still give it a 10 out of 10, honestly. Like, just because of the price, you can't complain. You get everything you need from this. Best occasion, you can wear anytime. I think it's pretty good for a date. It has a bit of sensuality, the sweetness, you know, a bit of spice in it. But there's definitely other safer options. It can be a bit challenging because of the, you know, cumin in the beginning and the rose cardamom. It's a very outgoing type of fragrance. I can say it's almost like a party fragrance, but not really, because for a party fragrance to be good, it needs to last a long time. You know, you want it to last the whole night. I would say this is really ideal for, like, you know, you can go out with this on a date. I think you can kind of pull this off at the office, but you have to be careful because this is a very, you know, outgoing fragrance at the beginning. Go check out Rasasi Daarej. You can get this like for $25 to $30 on discounters. Really great price. For like, it has a great price value proposition out from this fragrance. Quality, everything's great. Definitely check it out. So if you enjoyed my video, please press a like, comment down below, subscribe.
Please subscribe. Please subscribe. Huh? Huh?
Subscribe.
Please
Subscribe.
Please
Subscribe.
And I'll make more videos for you guys hopefully. So thank you for coming and see ya.